Welcome to KenzuGaming. Yugoslavia has been released in the newest DLC, and I'd like to introduce to you a resilient deck which I feel fares well in longer games of attrition such as total destruction games, 60-minute games and no time limit games. This means taking cards to ensure a steady supply of not only strong tanks but also of enough AA for multiple pushes and ensuring that you do not run out of infantry before your enemy does. On top of that, it means that you take much less upgraded veterancy cards than you would for shorter games. No matter if you play against skilled RT spammers who know how to stop assaults with heavy barrages, after 1 hour even the best supplied RT spammer will run out of supplies, and if you have enough units in your deck, it will be a piece of cake to march on their base sector and wipe them out. Especially in games against skilled opponents where games might bog down to stalemates when most players run out of tanks, infantry and or AA, having more units in your deck will ensure your victory against them. I find that this strategy works especially good against conquest players, as they sacrifice resilience to maximize the efficiency of their units through veterancy, which means that you fight an uphill battle in the first 30 to 45 minutes of the game, but if you manage to hold out, victory will be at your feet. So let's get it on. I will skip logistics because this is mostly based on personal preference and also the map which you're playing, so I'll not be talking much into that. So let us therefore start with infantry. We have here Padobranci 90, which I'm taking on transport, which is wheeled, and I take them as elites. Of course, a deck will be more resilient with veteran units, but I think it's better to take elites, mostly because in the initial engagement you want to make sure that you will be winning. And to win the first engagement, it's better to take a higher veterancy. However, the other units which I have taken at the basic veterancy, as you can see. Let's go in more detail. Why did I take the Brzka Peshadija? First of all, they have a recoilless rifle with a range of 1400 meters. So the strategy I'm employing with these guys is when I attack with the elites at the city which is at the front, I'm planning to win there. And if I do win, then I will fortify with these units. And these units I'll place more at the back because they have only 10 men. They are not as resilient to bombs and artillery as these guys. These guys are more resilient and they can start firing at incoming APCs much earlier. Of course, not in the initial engagement, but let's just imagine that I take a city. When I want to fortify it, I'll fortify it with these guys. And I leave these at the back in reserve. Well, at the back of the city, so they're still close by. Then I can also use these guys when I'm, for example, launching an assault. Let's say I want to advance 1 kilometer forward or 2 kilometers across some open field. So I will take these guys and they'll provide good support against tanks, and they can also take a lot of hits, and they will be attacking together with tanks and anti-air. So these are a good type of units to push, and they can even be used to attack cities, because when they advance to the city on foot, as soon as the enemy infantry starts firing at them, your tanks will provide covering fire, and they will also provide the fire support you need to take them out. Of course, if you want to attack cities, you should not only take these guys, maybe send one of these guys ahead, and Padobranci should be right behind them. Because once they enter the city, these guys will be doing the cleaning up. On top of that, I have also Shilo, some anti-air. So there are multiple transports which you could take. You could take this transport for 5 points. This is probably the option which most of you would take, I guess. However, if you just add 5 points more, you'll get this recoilless rifle, which I think is very good, because for 5 points more you'll get a valuable vehicle which you can still use later in pushes or as a kind of support vehicle. So I would definitely pay the 5 points more to have some useful unit, especially in long games. However, if you already pay 10 points for this, you might as well take this unit. For 5 points more you get 3 front armor. Now the reason why I have taken the more expensive Vidra, this one, is because the autocannon has 250-meter range, more than this one, and also more AP power. You can see 3 AP power and also a better stabilizer and also better Malyutka, but actually the Malyutka doesn't matter much. The reason behind this is because I usually don't buy these shields at the beginning of the game. Maybe I'll buy them mid-game, and by that time I have already enough money to get also some powerful vehicle which can help me in later pushes. The reason why I didn't take the best one is because I took the best one with the Proletary 90. My Proletary 90 are mostly used for late game when I want to make, when I have already a lot of money and I want to invest it. So this card is actually a card which will provide the greatest benefit, because with one card you will get a lot of powerful vehicles and also a lot of powerful infantry. Let us advance to support. So one of the advantages of Yugoslavia is that you can create a no-fly zone above your area without the use of radar AA, and this is exactly what I'm gonna do. So this is the reason why I'm taking this non-radar AA, the Neva, and also the Prachka, which is also very good against helicopters. It has only 2 missiles, so I personally recommend that you always buy them in groups of 2, and especially at the start of the game you should definitely buy 2 groups of 2. So buy 4 Prachkas. It's not much money, it's only 160 points, but if any plane flies around with 4 missiles, it's most likely going to be taken down. And I also recommend that you take 1 supply truck with your Prachkas. If you want, of course. If you don't want to take a supply truck, you might have to take a Sava, because the Prachkas are going to run out of missiles very fast, and if you enter and if you attack and you realize that you are in the middle of a helo rush, they are not going to be that helpful. So either take 1 Sava with 4 Prachkas, or you take 4 Prachkas with a supply vehicle. But then you're pretty much covered. You have a very strong AA. In larger games, let's say in 4 versus 4 games, where 2 of you are attacking one side, then one of you might want to take also Nevas as well. On top of that, I have also Nora B artillery. This is a very good artillery, very similar to Caesar. And I also have Plamen S. I am taking it mostly because of its capability to fire smoke rounds. At maximum range you can create a very good smoke cover, with which you can then use your Peshadia to advance and take more sectors and more territory. So this is all for the support. I forgot to mention that the Sava is upgraded Strela. It has a range of 2,800 meters, very good against helicopters. I definitely recommend taking this. And this is all for now. We also have other options here, although I felt that this combination of units seems to be working the best, at least for me. It might be different for you. Let us go to tanks. I have 5 cards of tanks. Obviously the best tank M91A Vihor. Then I have also the M91 Vihor version, the less powerful version, also very important. 2 cards of M84A. And also an Igman. I was thinking if I should take this Igman or the weaker one with Malyutkas, but in the end I decided to take the better one, because the Malyutkas, well, you cannot really expect to use them much. Most likely they will not hit anyway. Also, if they fire at the range of 2,400 meters, it's most likely that if the enemy is attacking you and using roads, for example, they will fire their cannon at you before the Malyutka has hit, which means that actually you're in a disadvantage because the enemy tanks are firing with their cannons first. So you might as well just take this unit to ensure that you will be firing at each other at the same time. Let us go to the Recon tab. We have Senke, a very powerful anti-material sniper rifle. This one is actually even more powerful than the rifle of the Recce, Reki have an AP power of 1 and a range of 1500 meters, but Senke has a greater range and also more AP power. Definitely recommend taking them. I'm taking them in a helicopter so I can deploy them also behind enemy lines. Then we have a very powerful Recon Tank M84 AN. I'm taking this one mostly in my later game pushes, not in the first push. In the first push I recommend taking this one, which I'm sending ahead of my other troops. It is a recon / cannon fodder unit. And on top of that I have also a Hera helicopter to provide some long range recon. Going over to vehicle section, I have the BOV Raketage. This is a very good unit used for fire support, especially when you're attacking enemy cities. Send your infantry ahead, and as soon as the enemy infantry fires at your infantry, your BOV Raketage is gonna waste the enemy. Then we also have Polo. This unit is very powerful, although does not have so much range, only 2450 range. But the advantage of it is that it has a strong AP power, decent accuracy, and more importantly, it's a very cheap unit which you get plenty of. Also, very important to note, the AP power of this unit is actually less than this Vidra. This Vidra has 26 AP power. So if you want to snipe enemy vehicles, I recommend buying one of these units, the Vidra, and leave the Polos for late game if you have nothing else. Or if you think that you are going to use a lot of rockets. As you can see, Vidra has only 4 missiles and Polo has 18. But in most engagements, most likely the vehicle is going to get wrecked before firing 3 or 4 missiles, so you might as well just take the Vidra. Going back to the vehicle tab, we also have a Jackson. You can also take a Hellcat, however the Jackson seems to be better because it has better range and also better AP power. And better armor. And better autonomy. Just take this one, take the Jackson. The off-road speed of the Hellcat is, I think, not really worth it. Going to the Helo tab, we have Gamma 2. It's a unit which has anti-tank missiles and also anti-air, semi-decent in both the AP, well, anti-tank capabilities and also the anti-air capabilities, but it's better than nothing. And then there is this helicopter, is one of my favorite units. It is a helicopter which has 4 high explosive power and 2275 meter range, so this is better than the regular missiles which have only 2100 meter range. It's a cheap unit and it's also very good not only against vehicles, but it fares actually quite well against medium tanks as well. And now we can go to the air tab. We have L-19 Novi Avion. You can see it has Rafale missiles, at least I believe these are Rafale missiles, the Mika AM. And we have also Soviet missiles, the Wimpels. On top of that, I have also MiG-29, the L-18. This one is much cheaper, but you get 4 of them. It does not have fire and forget long-range missiles, well, medium-range missiles. However, that's okay, I find. And on top of that, I have this here, a MiG-21, which I sent in ahead of these units. So a good strategy is to send 1 or 2 of these planes and then 4 of these planes. When these fire a salvo of 4 missiles at enemy planes, they will most likely take it down, and with the second salvo they can fire at a second plane and take down a second plane. So late game I recommend using a combination of these units. And maybe if you still have some money left, you can also add these right behind these units. So this means that actually for a price of 400, 500, 520, let's say you buy 2 of these planes, for 620 you're guaranteed to kill, let's say, 2 Rafales, which are worth 300 points, while losing only 2 planes. And I'm talking about these cheap planes, maybe you will lose 1 of these and 1 of these. So all in all, you will be able to kill planes at a 2-to-1 ratio point-wise. And then I also have a Super Galeb. Since you do not have any seat, you might want to use one of these planes and send it ahead of your Super Galeb to not risk it. The MiG-21 is a very good plane for sacrificing itself. So that's all for the Yugoslavia deck. I hope you will have a lot of fun with it, at least as much as I have. See you next time.